All right. All right, children, gather around. Oh, yes, I'm in. I'll just use Rillaboom. Tell you a story. Oh, I guess it's story time. All right. Shoot, what did I write for that? Okay, because I gotta come up with an original story, the compelling characters, compelling story, plot development, blah blah blah. All right, so there's this guy. He's a magician. His name is Jeff. Jeff the Magician was his stage name. Uh, Jeff works for he works at a circus carnival, and one day he's working and he's got a show and there's a big old crowd. So Jeff the Magician was working one day and there's a particularly large crowd, a massive crowd. He felt a little bit intimidated walking out there. He was kind of second guessing himself. Stage fright. He was having a bit of stage fright. So Jeff was kind of trying to figure out a way to psych himself out. He kind of stood down for a second. He just kind of, just sitting there, just like I gotta pump myself up. There's a big old crowd out there. I gotta do something. And then his wife, Jane. No, that's too boring a name. How about Janet? I feel like it has to have a J. So Janet is also a magician. She's also there. She's actually his assistant. And she comes along and she's like, Jeff! She shakes Jeff and like, gotta get your shit together, dude! And then Jeff's kind of freaked out because she's never acted like this before. She's very mild-mannered. And it really threw him off. And he's like, Janet, what's the matter? You never act like this. Why are you violently shaking me like a rubber goose? And so Janet's like, Jeff, that crowd out there, it's not a crowd. They're zombies. And Jeff's like, holy shit. He looks out like through the curtain. He sees that they're all zombies. That's no crowd at all. They're not there for entertainment. They're there to eat his brains and her brains. And so Jeff's like, oh my god, Janet, what are we gonna do? Zombie apocalypse is upon us. And Jane's like, I got this. Came for the Pokemon, stay for the joke. This is no joke. This is a real, authentic, heartfelt story about two lovers who are married and they're magicians, and they. And I already spoiled it because I already told you they. Ignore that. They. So Janet and Jeff, the magicians, in their circus tent back alley area where they prep for the show, they look in the drawers, the dresser drawers, and they see that they have a gun stash, and they're like, why do we have a gun stash here? And they're really confused, but they're really happy that they happen to be a gun stash there so they can protect themselves from the zombie horde. And Janet's like, Jeff, I put them there. I used my magic to conjure them. And then Jeff's taken aback because he thought that she was like a magician in like sleight of hand like he is, but it turns out she actually is a real magician who uses real magic. And he doesn't know what to say. He keeps it to himself though. He tries not to make it too obvious that he's really taken aback by this, because he's afraid of her powers. He's afraid of what she could do to him if she's offended. And then he's like, oh, that's really dope, honey. And so let's load up, and then they load up Rambo style, and then they get all their guns and stuff. And then they're like, okay, time to escape. And then they run out guns ablazing, and the zombies, they're falling like flies, they're dropping like flies, and they run and they shoot, and they run and shoot, and then they run and jump and shoot, and they eventually make their way out of the circus tent unscathed, because they had some crazy ass firepower. And then Jeff and Janet, they keep saying Jane, it's Janet, sorry. Jeff and Janet, they escape the tent. And when they walk outside, they think that everything is fine. They think that they're home free. And then it turns out the world is literally on fire. They're in hell. They died. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Survivor Nerd. Because the story's about to take a new turn. Okay, so they're in hell. But they're like, should I just end the story there? Quick poll, do you guys think I should just end the story there? Because I can keep going. You do whatever you want. Well, I do want to go pee for sure. Okay, I got it. I got an idea. Okay, I know how to continue the story. Okay, so Jeff and Janet, the magicians, they're in hell. They walk out of the circus tent and there's fire and brimstone everywhere. There's demons. There's demons all around. There's screams in agony. There's of the dying, damned souls of all those sinners. Jeff and Janet look at each other, and Jeff's like, "Oh my God!" And then a voice from behind them says, "There is no God here." And it turns out it's Satan. It's Satan himself. It's Lucifer. Lucifer himself stands before them. And Lucifer laughs. Ha 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 ha! Welcome to hell. This is what you get for being a sinner and learning magic. It's forbidden for humans to learn magic. And then Janet looks over at Jeff. She's like, I got this. And then Janet sings a magical incantation and blesses her gun with magician might magic. So the bullets are super powered and holy. They have holy capabilities. And she's just unloads it into Satan. And Satan's like, "Oh God, this hurts." He doesn't say "oh God" because he's the enemy of God. He wouldn't say that. He's like, "Ooh, that hurts. Ooh, that stings. Ooh, it's bad. Ooh, that hurts." But it's not like it's not like damaging him. It's definitely like irritating him. It's definitely like it's hurting him. But as much as it would be hurting like for someone to get hit by like, I don't know, like a spitball or something like that. Nothing too bad. He's like, stop it. And then Janet stops and she's like, what the hell? And then Satan's like, ha, what the hell? Because you're in hell. That's really funny. Hey, you should be a comedian in what he says. And she's like, well, too late. I'm already a magician. That's my job. And then he's like, oh. And then there's like an awkward silence. I mean, it's awkward silence, but like there's all the screaming souls of the damned are like they're still screaming. They're quite loud. But there's an awkward silence between like the dialogue between the three characters, Jeff, Janet, and Satan. So they kind of just stand there for like a little bit, and they're like, all right. So, and then Jeff's like, so we're just gonna head out of here. Like, is that cool with you? And Satan's kind of like, yeah, I mean, this is getting kind of awkward. I mean, sure, why not? You can get out of here. It's fine. It's plenty of other souls for me to reap and consume. And so they walk out the back exit because there's a back door that says back to Earth. So Janet and Jeff make their way back to Earth. They make their way. The exit leads to the. It's like, so they walk out through the exit of hell, and it turns out that the exit is actually where the tent actually, like the circus tent that they originally were in, leads to. So they walk outside the tent. So it's kind of just like a big old roundabout way of getting outside the tent. They just had to walk through hell a little bit. Not a big deal. And so they walk outside, and sure enough, the zombie apocalypse was actually upon them. So they're confronted with a bunch of zombies. They start panicking because it's like, oh no, there actually is a zombie apocalypse. none of them noticed us yet. What should we do? And they kind of decide how they're going to take their approach. Because they got to get home. That's the end goal. They want to get home. It's because they have a safe bunker there. Or like a panic room. And so they contemplate if they want to be sneaky, if they want to be tactical about their escape and getting back home. Or if they should just go guns a-blazing. So they think on it for a little bit. Says Jeff. Says Janet. Says Jeff. Says Janet. And so on and so forth for a good couple, like, maybe like 5-10 minutes or so. Then Jeff is like, aha, I have an idea. He rolls a d20, because he's a nerd, and he plays Dungeons and Dragons. And then he rolls a crit. He rolls a fat 20, a natty 20, as they call it. And he's like, aha, I know the answer now. Janet's like, what? What does that mean? Because he didn't explain what he was rolling for. It wasn't like a check or anything. He wasn't doing like an intelligence check or anything. He was just rolling a die. And he's like, we go in guns a-blazing. And then there's like a guitar, and then they go in like guns a-blazing. They're like, and they run through the field of all the zombies, and they mow them down. They get home, and then they get to their safe room, and they have a nice apple pie at the end. And that's the story. So I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I did lie, because they did survive. When I said they don't survive, that was I was trying to confuse you. I was trying to confuse you because I accidentally spoiled it already by saying they survived. So I'm sorry I deceived you guys. I'm sorry I lied about that. I just wanted you to enjoy the story. So I hope you guys can forgive me. Ah.